Control. Hey. Control. Hey.
Hey, Trey J. That's hard.
Control. Hey. Now you in trouble. Playing with my brothers. Fuck around with these bitches, boy. I swear we don't love them. Okay, my tank off a star. Scheme from my shop. The way I put that G on, but they might give me another. I can't just sit here and fuck it, let alone sit here struggle. Gotta get off my ass, get this paper, know I love it. My women mad, a soldier. She mad, a warrior. Preach the prophet, shot bomb. Bitch, I'm exploding. Let's get stupid, damn sneaky bitches. No love. Blocking all of my channels. 5 can't see what I'm doing. Now make big noise and keep going. To these superstars, I'm out of one. I got big drip, what you call it? Made that money rain like a faucet. All these bitches wanna commit adultery till I pull up and she scoping. High style ass preach does it. Force gon' pull it out even knowing I don't play game with nobody. If she bad, I'll pull it out. See this cute bitch, she lurking, putting her toes all in the dirt for a nigga. Hey, want me a bit that's tender. Though she read what she saw, deep inside remember. I'm just walking, blood short, with a damn breeze. She talking about what's the move after we started breathing. Damn. On the west coast I got it, on the south coast I got it, on the east coast I got it, on the north coast I got it. Everywhere I go I got it. Young nigga just stop. Fuck, now you in trouble, playing with my brothers. Fuck around with these bitches, boy, I swear we don't love them. Okay, my tank off. My shot. Yeah, I put that G on, but they might give me a fuck. Let alone sit here struggle. Gotta get off my ass, get this paper, know I love it. My women, man. Bitch, I'm exploding. Let's get it all on me. Put it all on me. Lay it all on me. Put it all on me.
I say put it all on me. 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 And yeah, I be saying. Playing with my brothers, and I'm gonna do like that, ain't it? Gonna be the fat, them down. You hang with them niggas, don't get no vibe. Made me sing when I'm so high. See what type of man you is. Face that east on your pussy ass, yeah, get you going real quick. And we don't man, it's gonna be the reason why you lay down a little bit. And everybody got their trust up in their gun with that shit. And yeah, we really feel the love, we ain't worried about that shit. Yeah, he wish that he could. Yeah, I wish a nigga would. Man, fuck that, we turning up, going all in with this shit. I feel like them niggas don't give a thorns at the wall with this shit. We took our oath with this shit, and I'm embedded in this shit. And now I die for this shit. And this ain't brotherhood. Now I fight the bullet first, pussy, then hop up in the blend from my position. I'm with my brother. Just wanna say no.
Now you in trouble, playing with my brothers. Fuck around with these bitches, boy, I swear we don't love them. Okay, my tank off a star. Scheme from my shop. The way I put that G on, but they might give me another one. I can't just sit here and fuck it, let alone sit here struggle. Gotta get off my ass, get this paper, know I love it. My women mad, a soldier. She mad, a warrior. Preach the prophet, shot bomb. Bitch, I'm exploding. Let's get it all on me.
So we good? Oh, God, yo, good. All right, clap it up. All right, Shalom Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Today is Thursday class. Today's topic is that the spirit of God does not dwell in America. With that being said, it's something that you must know. For all our lives, we've been living in America and thinking that America has a spirit of God, when in all actuality, they have been lying to us for years at a time. And since by them lying to us, they've been able to get over on us and been able to manipulate us and throw out their agendas so we can push their agenda so they can be more in rulership. Well, over here in the ISUPK, we understand that the so-called Caucasian man, the so-called Arabs, the Hawaiians, the Middle Easterns, etc., are our enemies. Right. That's what we learned in the Bible. You know, in the Christian church, they do read out of the Bible, but they don't teach you the other nations. They don't teach you who your enemy is. You know, in the Christian church, they say, turn to your neighbor and say, hey, neighbor. And when you turn to your left, it's a Caucasian man. When you turn to your right, it's a Middle Eastern man. And you're all dwelled in one thing, trying to learn one religion, when that does not consist of what the Bible talks about. The Bible talks about being holy, and holy means separate, which means that whoever your nation is, you should be gathered with them. And we know in the scriptures that in the Holy Bible, it only talks about the Israelites. So we have the understanding to know that we have to be dwelled with one another. If I could, Yaquad, or one of the brothers down there, could you please give me the book of Romans chapter 1 and verse 25? Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 25.
Go ahead.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie?
Say it again.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie?
Now, this is the book of Romans chapter 1 and verse 25, and it clearly says, who changed the truth of God into a lie? That's a question that you should ask yourself. You should ask yourself, who changed the truth of God into a lie? And it's right there in front of your face. You're like, well, I know dang well that all these things that the people say in the Christian church can't be real. I mean, for how many times you grew up and you say, Christ is black, of course you're not having knowledge of it. You say this around in the world to your people, your grandma and your mom say, I know Christ black. Well, if you know Christ is black, you understand that, and you know that the prophets are black, you know that God is black, then why don't you do the things of the people that are in the Bible doing the things that God tells them to do? And they're supposed to be black. They're supposed to be the prophets of God. You're supposed to be a daughter of Zion. And you understand these things. But the reason why you don't do that thing is because you believe the lie that the Caucasian man has changed. He changed the truth of God into a lie. You believe it. You see, when you believe that Caesar Borgia is the Messiah, you believe that white Christ is real and that he's the Messiah of all the earth, and he died for everybody, and we should all love one another, then that's what you do. You subconsciously look at the white man as superior over you. That's what you do. And the reason being because you got to think about the times in slavery. And the times of slavery, they beat Christianity into us. And that's another reason why you should not partake in Christianity. Because when you grow up now in the 21st century, you think that Christianity is supposed to be all about love. But they don't talk about the history of how Christianity got on black people. They don't talk about how it got to Hispanics and Native Indians. We know that the conquistadors, a Spaniard man, conquered the so-called Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans. He conquered the Hispanics and gave them, to believe in Roman Catholicism, and they believe in Saint Mary, and they believe in the Caesar Borgia. We know what happened to black people. It got beaten into us in the times of slavery, along with our Mexican brothers and along with our Native Indian brothers. Christianity was beaten to us. They used to have, they would take a black man hostage, and they would use him as a public example, and they would sit him probably on a bed of nails, and if he did not bend the knee to follow this religion, then they would unalive him. Then, of course, they came with their guns and violence and overthrew black people. That's what they did. And that's how Christianity started. And ever since then, of course, you've seen the so-called slave master do what they do to your family members. What are you going to do? Especially somebody that doesn't have a gun to fight back. You have no money in your hand. They tell you can't read the Bible, that black people shouldn't read. Of course, you're going to be docile, because the spirit of you knowing who you are as an Israelite, the spirit of God has been beaten out of you. And now they put a false religion to push their agenda, so they can be at the top. So now when you see Caesar Borgia in all your life, that's why you don't go against white people. That's why you're the nicest to them. You hold the door open for them. You make sure you call him sir. You make sure that if you're late to work, you have an excuse to say why you were late to work, because subconsciously you look at him as superior and you look at him as God. And that's what they've been doing with Caesar Borgia. Then they say the Bible was rewritten all these times. Well, if the Bible was rewritten, and I go over here and read the Bible in the book of Obadiah in the 15th verse, and it says the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. If you say it was rewritten, how come it says in Romans, the 9th chapter and the 13th verse, it says, Esau have I hated, but Jacob have I loved. You know who Esau is, Christian pastor. Joel Osteen knows that Esau, Edom, and the Edomites is the progenitor of the Caucasian man. If it was rewritten, then how come you didn't take that part out to say Esau have I loved and Jacob have I hated?
Right.
Because the Bible was never rewritten. Right. The Bible was only translated from another language into English. Right. That's what it was. That's what happened. It was translated by some of the best scholars that ever walked the face of this earth. And they were black and brown men. And they translated it to English. The Bible has not been rewritten. You see, in the scriptures, we understand that when we read the scriptures out of this Bible, this is prophetic. This is prophecy. We are prophets of God, and we go out there and prophesy to the wind, or we prophesy to the multitude. And the things that we are saying that come out of this Bible are in fact true. We understand that the third woe is right here, World War III. It says in the scriptures that the first woe passed, and the second woe passed, and the third cometh quickly. We understand that woe is destruction. World War I happened, World War II happened. Now World War III, we're in the midst of it. It says in the book of Revelation, in the first chapter, 13, 14, and 15 verses, it says the depiction of Christ. Now that's talking about when he comes back, his return, after he's already gone to where he was at after him dying on that cross. This is talking about his regenerated body, the body that it's nothing you're going to be able to do. You see this man on this wall, he's going to be coming back looking something like that. And they're going to be shooting guns, shooting, bombs, missiles and everything. And you're not going to be able to kill Christ. It's the whole reason why they have the Space Force, because they're trying to fight against the same very thing that's going to have the salvation of Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. They change the truth of God into a lie. They're the ones that say the chariots of God have gray aliens and green aliens in them, when that is a myth. That's fallacy. That's like believing in unicorns or leprechauns or goblins. There's no such thing. There's no such things as ghosts. We know in the scriptures that it says that the living does not know what the dead is doing, and the dead doesn't know what the living is doing. When you die in the flesh, your spirit goes over to the Most High to be judged. And then after that, he chooses whenever he wants to put you back into the lifestyle based on your nation of people. You don't talk to your grandma that's a ghost. That's fake. It doesn't happen. You see all them ghost shows you see on YouTube and all these movies and The Conjuring, that'd be fake. They got things hidden in the wall, certain noises they can do. I mean, think about it. They make all the CGI movies with their computers. It's all fake. It's all fallacy. So believing in the ways of the Caucasian man only leads you further away from God and leads you into lies. Keep reading.
And worship and serve the Creator more than the Creator.
No, read it again.
Verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie. And worship and serve the Creator. It's like the creature more than the Creator.
Who would be the creature? What is the creature? Anybody got an answer who you think the creature is?
Like man.
Yeah, like yourself, right? That would be the creature. Like in the scriptures, it says that the terrible crystal was over the living creature's head, meaning over the mankind, the humans, right? Now, in this particular context, it's talking about you. You serve yourself more than the Creator. That's what Christianity does. That's why the scripture is so it's so evident. It's so important that you understand that who changed the truth of God into a lie. Because when Christianity came around, what does Christianity teach you to be? What do you think it teaches you to be, Kakao?
Oh, white man.
I need a little more. It do teach you to be like them, to envy your oppressors. But anybody else got something? What else does it teach you like this spirit that it gives you? Who? That too. It start with an S though. Go ahead. Isaiah? It teaches you to be what? Like when you in Christianity, they tie in religions to, they tie in pagan holidays to the religion. Now, aren't most like a birthday? What type of holiday would that be?
Oh, like a self-praising holiday.
Like a self-praising. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Sinner?
Yeah, you're centered, like you're selfish. So Christianity teaches you to be selfish. It doesn't teach you to be selfless. You get what I'm saying? Like in the times when Christ was Roman, in the times of the Romans, they had, Roman Catholicism. They had all these other religions, just like they do now, because there's nothing new underneath the sun. And the reason why they hated Christ so much is because he was selfless. He loved his brothers and sisters. He loved Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And with that being said, he was bringing back the two sticks together. They hated the fact that he was bringing back unity, like it says in the scriptures. And meanwhile, him doing that, he was perfect. And he didn't need a religion. He didn't need a holiday. He just needed the Spirit of the Lord. That's all he needed. That's all he needed. And by him doing that, that's why they put him up on the cross. He said the work that he's doing is too amazing. He's bringing back Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, and they're no longer working for us in Rome. They want to quit. They're standing up against our oppression. They don't want to be a part of this no more. They want to go serve their God. They want to go do these things. They don't want to serve birthdays, serve the Greek gods and, the moon gods and all that. No, they want to serve Yahweh. They want to serve their God. And by that happening, they had to get the main man out of the picture. And that is your king, Yahushua Mashiach. They had to get him up out of there because he was so powerful. They couldn't stop him. Now, the scripture is saying that you serve the creature more than the creator, right? Meaning, in Christianity, like I'll say, right? You serve yourself. You're self-centered, like Isaiah said, like you said, Kakam and Yahweh. You're selfish. You're soft. You're self-centered. It's all about you. You know, celebrate my birthday while being a Christian in Christianity. And then they'll use it as to justify them celebrate their birthday. They'll say December the 25th was Christ's birthday. Nowhere documented in the scriptures did Christ celebrate his birthday. Right. He never did that. Why? Because that would be against God. That means that if he did do that, what would that make Christ what? That would make him a what? A sinner. But we know that Christ did not sin. See, that's what happens when you believe these so-called Caucasian people. That's why we say that they're the deceiver of the Bible, because they deceive. You see a Caucasian man, an Arab will say, you know, his color doesn't matter. He's all shades. He's different shades of wheat. You know, you can celebrate your birthday because Christ did it, December 25th. No, you sanctioned that day. Christ never said that. The Most High God never sanctioned Christ's birthday. For what? That's fallacy. That's a lie. And by believing that, then what? You become a Christian. You're Roman Catholicism. You're a Buddhist. You practice Hinduism or Judaism. You practice all these religions that are self-centered and have nothing to do with being an Israelite. Have nothing to do with keeping the Passover and the high holidays. Have nothing to do with keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. And you see where it leads you. It leads you to destruction. If I could, Yaquan, give me 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Because we just talked about that. Who changed the truth of God into a lie? Well, there's something that is a precept to this. Go ahead.
Let no man, it's the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means.
Right.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed.
Now read that first sentence again. What did it say? Let no man what?
Let no man deceive you.
Let no man deceive you. Now we can go back to Romans 1 and 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie? In the ISUPK, we understand as Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians that follow Christ and that keep the law, statutes, and commandments and identify as Israelites, we understand that he is our enemy. The Caucasian man is our enemy. And it says, who changed the truth of God into a lie? We understand it was him. Caesar Borgia was just a regular white man that dwelled in his country, and he was exiled out of his country, just like Christopher Columbus, because they were people that forced themselves on women. They were people that slept with their sister. They were people that practiced in the alternative lifestyle, things that were against God. And we understand if Christ was perfect, he didn't act in those things. So this Caesar Borgia dude doesn't match up with the depiction of Christ, especially in the actions that he partook in. It doesn't make sense. Now we understand to let no man deceive us, because we understand the man of sin. And the man of sin is the Caucasian man. We understand that now. We understand that. Now we can stay far away from the snakes of the earth, the beasts of the field, and we won't have to be devoured like some baby deer in the forest, helpless. We don't have to be, sheep to the slaughter now, because we understand the Caucasian man is the man of sin, and he's being revealed. How is he being revealed? Because the prophets of God over here in the ISUPK go out to camp every Friday on 6th and Netches in Austin, Texas, go out to San Antonio, out there to the Alamo, and prophesy and say that the so-called Caucasian man is the devil the Bible speaks of. That's what we do. You see over there in San Antonio, now in San Antonio, y'all don't understand, the things that go behind the scenes. Now these brothers was there. They understood what happened. And we was talking to the police. Captain Yatazak was talking to the police. Officer Davidoff was talking to the police. And they were handling business. And it was showing them where the parameters were, what we can stand. Captain Yatazak told me that they spent $400 million to get the street preachings out of San Antonio. That's because of us. It's not because of any other Israelite group. It's because of the prophets of God, the water. It's because of the men in the ISUPK. If you don't think the work that you're doing is excellent work, you don't think that you're performing miracles just like Christ. They spent $400 million to build a pavilion, a god doggone more stuff to the Alamo and a museum. And they cut the sidewalk off. And if we get on the other side, we can be arrested. That's because you're doing the work of the Lord. And we understand to let no man deceive us, because we understand the reason why he is doing that, because he's our enemy. Now let us have been up in the world. Let us have been up in another a fake Israelite group. We would have trusted that man. No, it's cool. You'd be able to trust his words. You're supposed to trust a man's actions, not his words. Everybody can say this and that and don't follow up on it. The men over here, we follow up on our word. You see, we didn't trust that man's word. So we politely moved our stuff up to where we're allowed at. and taught, camp, and prophesied it and edified blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians that day. Just like we're going to do this weekend. Read what you got.
Oh, God. Verse, keep reading the same verse or next verse?
No, go to verse 4. You already read 3. Just give me 4.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll read verse 3.
Okay, go ahead.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right.
Verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Whoa. Say that again, Jaquan. I don't think they heard that.
Called.
Uh-huh.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Above all that is called God. Is the Bible not real, Kakum? Is the Bible not real? Don't they got the Space Force? What they got the Space Force for? They got the Space Force to defend against aircrafts that contain black and brown men of the Lord, the angels of God. And they created the Space Force to have bombs and missiles to shoot at the things that are going to save blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And guess who's going to be right with them? Yahweh Shai Mashiach, our king, a black man.
Right.
That's how you know that this place is not of God. Don't have the spirit of God. And they understand that too. They read the Bible. You don't let these so-called Caucasian men, they're subtile beasts. They can come up to you and be all nice and all cool, but they know the truth. It's a reason why in the Middle East certain artifacts have not been found and been revealed. They got that stuff locked up because if certain things get out, then they'll be like, we don't want blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to start to get some type of spirit up in them to come up against us. We don't want them to go and search and find out who they are because they've been searching for the wrong thing and they don't give a damn. It's the main reason why Trump will say, go back to Africa. Because in school, we've been thinking that we African Americans, we Africans. My heritage is in Africa. I need to go to Africa. When those are the same very people that oppressed us in the times of Egypt under the leadership of Pharaoh. You see the confusion? Because who changed the truth of God into a lie? Just like it says in 2 Thessalonians, let no man deceive you. We are no longer deceived. We will no longer be deceived by the devices and the manipulation of the so-called oppressors. It won't work on us because now we have the wisdom of the Lord. Now we understand who our enemy is. Now we can identify and say, yep, he's a snake. Doesn't matter if he's a garden snake. It doesn't matter if he's a rattlesnake. Snakes still bite, regardless. Some got venom, some don't. But a snake is going to bite to defend themselves. Keep reading.
Oh, God. Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God.
Keep going.
Or that is worshipped so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God.
Right, now that's where you get Caesar Borgia from. He worshiped himself as if he sitteth in the temple of God. Caesar Borgia was a regular white man, just like these regular white people that walk around. They chose him and appointed him to be the king over the entire earth. He was the Messiah. But you know the real reason why white people use him and profess him across the earth? Is because Caesar Borgia has the exact same spirit as a so-called white man here in America. How do I know? What is the ongoing thing that happens in white families? They sleep with their sisters. They sleep with their fathers. They sleep with their mother. And it be the son or the daughter. They perform an acts of incest. Caesar Borgia did it. They're mass unalivers. That's an everyday so-called white man. Just get on his nerves enough and conjure up that spirit, or he'll turn racist. He's saying not racist. He'll turn racist and call it the N-word, and then damn near be ready to kill you. What else happened with Caesar Borgia? Alternative lifestyle. I mean, wow. Where did you get that from? Caucasian people. Back time in the times of Rome and Greece when they had the gymnasium. You know they used to walk around naked? That's all in their spirit. And that's the exact reason why they profess this man, because they need somebody else to look up to and call him Christ. So that way the filter they're living in, they never have to change. Because Caesar Borgia never changed. So they used him as a Messiah to say he loves everybody. Why? They're going to use him as a cop-out. Caesar Borgia loves everybody. That's what he died for. So I can live the life that I want to live. When in all actuality, Caesar Borgia is not the Messiah. Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is. And he wasn't a Caucasian man. He was a black man. Now you start to understand why they use that man. Because he has the same spirit as them. That's why they profess him and use him. And say, you can't say nothing. This is Christ. You can't say nothing. You can't judge me for what I'm doing. Because he did the exact same thing, especially when you know the history. You see how they use it to cop out? Who changed the truth of God into a lie? Caesar Borgia is not the Messiah over blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. Right. We know that our king is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, a black man from the tribe of Judah. That's what we have the understanding of. Now, if you're a Black, Latino, Native Indian, you best keep this dear to your heart to understand that a Black man died on the cross for you to stop sinning. That's what he did. And he didn't die for no other nation on the face of the earth. You know why? Because in today's time, all these other nations show that they don't deserve for a man to die on the cross for them. Christ was a perfect man. He was the best one of us. And he died on that cross for the betterment of Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. How do I know? Because when he was living in the times of Rome, he was bringing back Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And they killed him for it. And he only died for them. It's the whole reason why he was walking around the earth doing it for the sake of them. Word. And he died for them. Only them. Like it says, this is the King of the Jews. You seen the letter that Pilate wrote? And then what? The Romans were gathered around and just watching. They didn't stop it. Now, if Christ was a white man, you think the Romans would have killed him? No. They would have used him, professed him, because he represents them. They never would have killed him. But since he was a Black man, he didn't partake in holidays and Greek mythology and Roman Catholicism. And he was bringing back Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, and Rome was falling because they were no longer followed by that oppression and working for them. They had to unalive him. Now you know the real. And that's where you'll get the real from, is right here in the ISUPK, the Commanding General Yohana.
Right.
Keep going.
Come. That he as God, the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Showing himself he is what?
That he is God.
Whoa, okay, so I was just in class with Officer Gadawan just yesterday. He taught for ISUPK Corpus Christi, right? And it was a video that he put up on there. It was this man named Reverend Lorenzo, and he went and spoke at the inauguration of Donald Trump. And he said, "This is your king. This is your God." That's what he said. This is your king. This is your God. People in America, especially white Americans, look at Trump as Christ. They look at him as God. When he got shot in the ear, if he really got shot, I don't think he got popped for real. Whatever they shot him with must have been a 22 or low caliber. You know, I guess he thought that he felt Black for a moment because he got shot, or he felt that he had some empowerment. But he got popped in the ear. Let's just say that, a grave. And when he stood up and did this, that fist, and said "fight," looked like a Hitler symbol, it was all the might, and all those people at the Trump rally. Oh, they felt like they were angels of the Lord. When that happened, they thought that they can take the earth over. And now you see the spirit that he has conjured up in these Trump supporters. These people are ready to unalive anybody at the cost because now they believe that Trump is God. Right. They don't give a damn about God that dwells up there in the heavens and the sky. They don't care about the power. They think that he is. That's why do you think people fought so hard to have Trump back in office? Why do you think Black people were so happy to have him back in office? Because they look at him as God. You know how I know? A gift destroys the heart. What did Trump do? Did he not give us stimulus checks back in 2019, 2020? They swear to God he was Messiah. They swear to God that he was Christ. He gonna turn water to wine when Trump did that. He gave what was it, $1,200 or something? Come on, dog. It's the same amount of money you've been getting. Same amount of money you've been getting. PPP loan, right? And guess what? Black people were going to jail for PPP loans. But I seen a lot of white people and a lot of Middle Easterns open up gas stations, got doggone shooting ranges, and they never got in trouble. They never got in trouble. I still see him to this day. The person that had talks with him, like, hey, he's still living and still free in his little shop, in his business. Black person, he getting the jailhouse number. You see, that's why you can't trust these people. You know why you can't trust them? Because they can do what they want because this is their kingdom. It's like playing in a video game and the difficulty for you is on veteran. It's like legendary. You'll never be able to win. It's the hardest obstacles you got to go through in life. For the people that made the game, he can go in and alter whatever the hell he wants. He can put in a cheat. He can use a Zen. He can go in and mod and everything and make it to his way to benefit him because this is his kingdom. This is his video game. America is a Caucasian man's heaven. Right. But as for Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, we haven't seen our heaven. We don't have a heaven. We don't have no might in our hand. The only might left on the earth is the ISUPK Commanding General Yohana. Right. And if you don't believe it, you're going to see it very soon. We're in the midst of World War III. Now, right now, it's calmed down. You know, right now, they just said they had a ceasefire over there in the Middle East, over there overseas, right? It's only going to last for a little while. Over here, we understand that the things will ramp up. But our brothers and sisters don't know because they are believing the lies of the men who changed the truth of God into a lie. They believe in Caesar Borgia. They believe the prophets are white. They believe that God is white. So all throughout their life, when a black, Latino, and Native Indian man wakes up in America, he does not think that his life amounts to anything because he believes that the so-called white man is superior over him. He doesn't know that going to church, he's not going to learn about Deuteronomy 7:6 when it says that we shall be above all nations. He doesn't understand that he could be from the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Simeon, the tribe of Zebulun, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Levi. He doesn't know that he can be from one of the 12 tribes to be an Israelite as a child of God. He doesn't understand that. But we understand that. And that's why day and night we're going to profess to the earth that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Keep reading.
Verse. Who opposes himself, exalted himself above God and all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Right. Now, on there, can you go to the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing? I think I sent it to you. When you get it, you go ahead and read it. I should already have it titled, but I got a precept for you. Got it? You got to scroll down a little bit. You got it? It should be like Proverbs 3:7 is above it, but go ahead and read that. The 16th Street Baptist Church bombing was a terrorist bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, on September 15th, 1963. Now, you can stop right there. Now, of course, I don't know if you do know, but this is around the time when racism was at its peak. And around this time, they had a group called the Ku Klux Klan, or the KKK. Now, around this time, they started in Palenque, Tennessee, which is a little bit up north above the South. Then when it came down south, it was in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. More the four main places that it took place in. Now, around the 1960s, the KKK was prevalent, right? Keep reading. The bombing was committed by a white supremacist group, terrorist group. Wait, say that again? The bombing was committed by a white supremacist terrorist group. Now, I'm so glad you repeated that again, because it's a lot of flack that we get over here in the ISUPK. They always say we're terrorists. They always say that we're spewing hate, when it clearly just said, and this is documented, this is for everyone to view, this is on the internet, and this is a known fact about the KKK, terrorist groups that terrorize black people. But we go out there and we edify blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. We give them food, water. We have cold drives, food drives. These brothers in this class have food and cold drives and feed their brothers and sisters. And not only do they do that, they feed white people too. They feed Middle Easterns too. They feed all nations of people to show you that we are not a hate group. When we out there at camp, all nations of people come up there and ask us questions about the Bible because we're not a hate group. The only thing that we do is we edify the people that the Bible is talking to. That's only right. We're giving the mail to the people that need to receive it. Right. If I have, like I said, if I have an internet bill, you got a Spectrum bill, and it says your name, it says, could come on mine on a Spectrum bill. It's coming to your mailbox. Right. It's not going to nobody else's mailbox. The person that do the mail not going to mess up the delivery. They can get in trouble for that. No, he making sure that he got it on mailbox number 4 right there. Number 4. So when you go and put your key in there, so it could come on mine, Spectrum bill, $50 due on this date. If you don't pay that bill, guess what? You ain't gonna have no internet in your house. So no more Netflix, no more Hulu, but no more Family Guy. You ain't gonna have none of that because you didn't pay your internet bill. It's specifically to you. That mail was specifically directed to you. Now the Holy Bible, holy meaning separate, this is only talking to the Israelites. Right. So you shouldn't be mad at us that we're reading what's out of the Bible pertaining to the people that the Bible is talking about. That goes to show you that you don't believe in the Bible like you say you do. You don't believe in the Bible wholeheartedly. You don't believe in God because you are sitting up here and being blasphemous against the scriptures. You're sitting up here and going against the prophets of God, and the Bible is talking about the prophets of God. The Bible is talking about the Israelites. And you sitting up here saying that God is wrong. Basically, that's what you're saying. No, God's wrong. The prophets of God are not black. Christ is not black. The Israelites are non-existent. The law is done away with. You basically saying God is wrong. When Christ said, think not that I have come to destroy the law. And guess what? Or the prophets. They're still here today.
Last time I checked, you don't see anybody else doing the work that we do. The reason why, because they don't have the Spirit of God, because America does not have the Spirit of God dwelling in it. Keep reading, Yaquad.
Come.
Wait, take your time.
Four members of a local Ku Klux Klan.
Wait, what? Of a what?
4 members of a local Ku Klux Klan.
Of the KKK. 4 members. Keep going.
Chapter planted 19 sticks of dynamite attached to a timing device.
God damn, 19? Dog, you know how much damage one dynamite stick can do? Dynamite stick, you put that up in the cave, it'll blow the whole cave down. 19 sticks. You mean to tell me that this man loves me? Those same people? See, what you fail to realize is that the same people back then, ain't nothing happened. He might have died in the flesh, but that spirit transfers to the next flesh. They got the same exact spirit they had back then. They got the same exact spirit. You think the Caucasian man's spirit changes? No, it doesn't. It just gets worse over time. Like it says in the scripture, for like iron rusteth, so does his wickedness. And now you're starting to see. Now, this was just with 19 sticks of dynamite. This wasn't with nothing else. They didn't have no AR-15s back then. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have, nuke bombs and all that back then in the 60s like that, for real. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You two all go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Beneath the steps located on the east side of the church.
Right. Now read when it says one of the most vicious.
One of the most vicious and tragic crimes ever perpetrated against humanity.
Wait, say that again.
One of the most vicious and tragic crimes ever perpetrated against humanity.
One of the most vicious crimes perpetrated against humanity. Salakia. They planted 19 sticks of dynamite in a church. I'm going to give you some context. We all know that the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, hated black people. So I know you can just kind of figure who was in this church. It was black people. They targeted this church to unalive black people with 19 sticks of dynamite, right? And they killed black people. I believe 4 little girls lost their life at the hands of the so-called KKK members. And these are the same people that identified as Christians. These are the same people that justified their unaliving as the work of the Lord. That's not the work of the Lord. That's not what it is at all. And they unalived 4 black little girls in that church. And it says one of the most vicious crimes ever perpetrated against humanity. Keep reading, Yaquad. Mm-hmm. Where I'm at on time, Isaiah?
You're at 37 minutes, sir.
All right. Keep going, Yaquad.
The explosion at the church killed 4 girls and injured between 14 and 22 other people.
Right. It killed 4 girls. Now, the 4 girls it killed were black girls. 14 to 22 other black people in that church were injured. You know what's even crazier? The people that did that, they're Christians. And those Christians came to go to church, right?
Right.
And the people they unalived were in church at the same thing, believing what they believe in. And after they did it, they professed that what they did was a work of God and claimed that they were Christians. If that ain't the God doggone devil the Bible speaks of, I don't know what is. How much clearer can it get? We believe in the same religion. I'm in church where you go to church too. We're supposed to be understanding the gospel. And then you unalive me while I'm in there believing in the same exact thing because you don't believe in the same thing. You see, black Christians are really trying to find out who God is and Christ is. You just use Christianity and religion to cover up your wickedness. You use it to get closer to the people that you want to unalive. So then when you do it, you know what you can say? I repent. I've changed. Please forgive me. When repentance means you never do it again. But yet you keep going to do it. And that's why the scriptures say that no hypocrite shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. Now you understand in the kingdom of heaven why Caucasian people won't be in rulership. Because he goes to do the exact same thing that he's doing here in America over there in the Middle East. That's what he's going to do. He's doing the exact same thing. He's going to unalive somebody, give somebody pork. He's going to have sex with a cow or a dog and say, forgive me, I repent. And do it again tomorrow. But that's not going to happen because you're going to have the 144,000, the government of Israel. Right. And if it's anybody of any other nation that does something like that, it ain't going to be too many more chances. Christ's already back. Christ already came back. We're in the kingdom of heaven now. Ain't no more chances after that. Especially now for the other nations. Now we in rulership, you know, somebody's head might be at their feet. Somebody's foot might be by their ear. You know, somebody might not have no ears at all. Somebody might just cut your ears off so you can't hear. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. And that says that in the scriptures. That ain't my words. That's the work of God. So if you say you believe in God, well, I know you won't believe in that part. I know you won't, because you know killing is bad, as you'll say, but you're the same person that grew up benefiting off of your grandparents killing. And then to this day, you're still killing. Give me let me get 1 Thessalonians 5:3. And need I remind you, when this bombing happened, it happened 1963. Not until 1977, 14 years later, they started to get up on the trial, to make a trial for it. 14 years later, they say, you know, it's been 14 years. Let's have a trial for the unaliving of 4 little black girls and 22 people being injured that were black as well in a church. Let's have a trial. You know why? Because not only were the KKK white supremacists, the entire ways of America, the entire society where Caucasian people dwelled were white supremacists. Right. And they never had the spirit of God in them. As you can see, bombing a church with little girls in it. And these are supposed to be the people that come to me, that come to our brothers and sisters and profess across the earth that we should all love one another. The KKK has never went anywhere. They just don't wear their coats anymore. They're disguised now. They don't wear their white outfits anymore. They're walking around every day, itching and waiting to unalive innocent blood of blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And that's why you need a safe haven. That's why you need brothers and sisters on your side. And that's why we need the spirit of God to fight against this wicked kingdom. Right. Read what you got. Now you give me 3. I got 1, but I don't want to start. You can go with 3.
It's the first book of 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
Right. Those, okay. In the in that bombing that happened at that Baptist church, need I remind you, those black Christians in there, them being Christian and following the ways of Christianity, and we also know that the Caucasian man-made Christianity, they trusted in that religion, which means subconsciously they see white people as superior and they trust in white people. And with that being said, they said, you know, we're saved. But sudden destruction comes out of nowhere, and that church was bombed because they trusted in white supremacy. They trusted in white people. They trusted in Caucasian people. They trusted in a strange nation, and they were unalive because of it. Now, no longer will be little girls being blown up in churches and 14 to 22 black people being unalived in churches because they will no longer be in a Christian church. They'll be dwelled in unity with their brothers and sisters in the real church. That's what they'll be at. Where blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians dwell over here in the ISUPK and the Commanding General Yohana. They'll be safe then. They won't have to worry about bombs. They don't have to worry about being looked at in a certain way and touched on and groped and sexually abused. They don't have to worry about that because they won't have tyrant oppressors. They'll have brothers and sisters that love them and would die for them. That's what they'll have. Read what you got.
As travail upon a woman with child.
Right, as travail upon a woman with child and shall not escape. Meaning like when contractions come upon a pregnant woman, you can't escape it. It has to happen. You have to go through it. It just has to happen. That's what the scripture is basically saying. And that's what happens when you think that you're safe with these oppressors, and then sudden destruction comes out of nowhere. Why? Because you're trusting in a strange nation. I mean, you don't think that in the times, matter of fact, in the times of slavery, they thought the exact same thing. And then while you were sitting up there in that cabin, guess who come knocking on your door with a revolver in your face? The slave master. And he says, get up out of here. He don't care if he was dressed or not. Sometimes drag your brothers out the house naked. Then go up in the house and rape your wife. And then she's going to have the child for him. Now she gets moved inside the house. See what happens when you trust on these strangers? You're thinking that they love us. You're thinking that them giving you religion, giving you pagan holidays. A gift destroys the heart. I just went back to the stimulus check. Trump gave black people stimulus checks, and I've never seen so many black people talking about make America great again. They went out there to them voting booths and voted. I'm telling people I don't vote. They acting like I'm anti-Christ. I mean, if you really think about it, I'm anti-Trump. So to them, Trump is Christ. I'm anti-Christ to them. I'm anti-God to them. I'm not following your God. You're not voting. You need to go out there and vote. For what? What did Trump do? By just giving us a stimulus check? That didn't change the black communities.
Right.
That stimulus check you got that day, you spent that the same goddamn week. You didn't save that money. You didn't pay no bills. You waited for that next check to come from that job, that pay stub, and you used that and still was struggling. See, I would think that when you had a $1,200 check, $1,300 check, you would get up. You would get ahead, pay the bill off early or something. But nah, you and your foolery, you receiving a gift from your oppressor and knowing this is a one-time thing, you used it and blew it. You didn't help. I didn't see millions of black people come together with them stimulus checks and start building boys and girls clubs in the hood, do food drives, help the homeless. You could have did that. You say you followers of Christ, you love everybody, but go and do that. They didn't do it. Why? Because they are of their father, the devil. Right. And they're following the ways of America. And by following the ways of America, you don't have the spirit of the Lord. So I wouldn't expect you to go out there and help blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians who are in need. What, didn't it just snow? Didn't it just snow a couple of days? It was snowing in Georgia, right? Where you from? It was snowing in Georgia, right? ATL, right? It was snowing in Georgia. It was snowing out there in Georgia. And I know not damn one black, Latino, Native Indian person that claimed they love everybody went to go help them homeless brothers and sisters that was dying for not having no warm clothes on their back and died in the snow. You had a brother, a sister that died a couple of days ago in that snow. Over there in Louisiana, they had brothers and sisters that died because they did not have a roof over their head. They didn't have a roof over their head. They didn't have no food to eat. The clothes were a little bit too small. It wasn't warm enough. And you sitting here with a roof over your head, you sitting here still alive in a good living condition, and Christ died for your sins on that cross, and you aren't changing your life. You aren't going to seek the Most High God. You're not even going to seek the Spirit of God. You're not searching because you are content with the ways of your oppressor. And by you doing that, you'll never have the Spirit of the Lord within you. You'll just have the spirit of filth, the spirit of iniquity, the spirit of confusion. Now I understand why everybody's getting dreadlocks and everybody cutting their woke. Everybody worshiping crystals. Everybody say they opening their third eye. Everybody want to be XXXTentacion. Everybody want to be so Illuminati. Everybody want to say they woke and got all the answers. You heard what Kanye said. You ain't got the answers, Sway. You don't. You don't have the answers. You are a fool and misguided and mislearned. Over here, we understand. We put all our trust in the Lord. We know we don't have the answers. That's why we lean on the Most High God to give us the answers. He gives us the wisdom and the understanding. You, my friend, you trust in Caesar Borgia. We trust in Yahushua Mashiach. And last time I checked, we know that Yahushua Mashiach's work was real because we're sitting in this school right now. We're living proof of it.
All right.
Where you at?
Let's do verse 3.
Verse 3?
Okay.
Give me... Give me Romans 1:28. Yeah, that's what I want. Give me Romans 1:28. And that's where we're gonna go at with it. When you got it, you go ahead and read it.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient.
Whoa. Say that last part again.
To do those things which are not convenient.
Right. Now, this is talking about the heathens. The Lord gave them a reprobate mind. Reprobate meaning what?
Dumb.
They do what the hell they want. Yes. In other words, they're dumb. Or they try to justify their sin because they're wicked. And they don't give a damn. They don't have a God to serve, right? When a sinner is so hardened as to feel no remorse or misgiving of conscience for practically vile acts. Who does that sound like? Who that sound like? Could come who it sound like? The oppressor. Vile acts. You know what a vile act is? What's a vile act? Give me vile. What's a vile act? Yaquan? Give me an example. The vile act that oppressor would do.
Like grab your baby out your hand, kick it.
One, Isaiah. Grab your baby out your hand and kick it. That's what Yaakov said. What you say, Azar?
They would cut open the woman, take the baby out of her womb, and then put a cat in there and then sew the mama's stomach back.
He said, cut the baby out. He talking about the times of slavery. Take the baby out, put a cat in there, sew her up, and let the cat claw his way out. What you got? Put a knee upon your neck. He's talking about the event that happened with George Floyd. You got something, sis? Something vile. Feed the baby to the crocodiles. He's talking about the times of slavery as well. What you got, Zakari? What's a vile act that an oppressor can do? Something vile, sick, wicked.
Kill a man's whole family and castrate.
Kill a man's whole family and castrate. Hey, check that. Hey, that brother thinking about something back there. He must, in his past life, he must have experienced that one of his brothers had happened. That's a very vile act. And you know me. You know, like Officer Dawan says, and how y'all YNs get on my ass, having sex with cows, having sex with dogs, having sex with roaches, or anything that they can stick their rod in, or they women over there rubbing their vaginas against tree bark, whatever the hell they can do, vile acts. So y'all give yourselves a hand, because these are some wise brothers and sisters in this class, and they understand the vile acts that these oppressors can do. I mean, good night, castrating, feeding babies to alligators, you know, sewing the woman up with a cat inside of her, all types of things. And everything y'all said was excellent, because that explains the vile acts that these people do. And they profess that we should love one another. That's what they say. Love one another. You should forget about slavery. You telling black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indians to forget about slavery. Every year, I know even people's kids to this day, not in high school, are learning about the Holocaust. They have a Holocaust series on Netflix right now. On got doggone what's the other one? What's the one that forgive me, I might be getting a little old. Was it Paramount Plus, HBO, Hulu? They got it all over there. A whole bunch of documentaries. What's that one with the one little Edomite that used to hide in the attic? Anne Frank. Wasn't she around that time when the Holocaust was going on? They made a whole movie about her. Wasn't she blind too? She wasn't blind.
No, that's Helen Keller.
That's Helen Keller. Is she an Edomite too as well? But what was her little story?
She was blind and deaf.
Blind and deaf. It don't give a damn. I'm glad she was blind and deaf. She don't need to be hearing or looking at nothing no way. She ain't here. But anyways, they had a whole movie about Anne Frank. You know how many years I heard about Anne Frank? From middle school all the way to high school. Even out of high school. I wouldn't be surprised they got a statue of her somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised. They got millions of books. You know how many times I went to the library to check out books and I seen 10 Anne Frank books next to each other? Like, seriously. What are we talking about here? She was professed. They don't forget about her. They don't forget about the Holocaust. But to blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, they say forget about slavery. That was so long ago. Well, the Holocaust was so long ago as well. We should forget about it. We should forget about Anne Frank. I don't want to hear Anne Frank name again. I don't want to see no more movies. If it's a movie that come out with Anne Frank, if I hear Anne Frank, I'm fining you. If I hear about Anne Frank, that's a misdemeanor. I'm reporting you. I need my money. I'm suing you. I don't want to hear about her because you don't want me to talk about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Fernando Castile. You don't want to talk about all the people that lost their lives in the transatlantic slave trade, all the sisters that had to defecate and had menstrual cycles and that died from not having food and all the filth that they had to smell and sleep next to in that cargo ship that the so-called Arabs built. Y'all say forget about it. I'm not going to forget about it. I'll forget about slavery when you forget about the Holocaust. And last time I checked, you're never going to forget about the Holocaust. I'll forget slavery when the world says, when the white man says that Caesar Borgia is not the Messiah. When he professed that it was Christ was a black man, it'll never happen. So since it'll never happen, I'll never stop believing. I'll never forget slavery. I'll never forget what the conquistadors did to the so-called Hispanics and conquered them, gave them the language and the entire culture, and had them believe in Roman Catholicism and Saint Mary. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget about what Christopher Columbus, Slovakia, his behind got exiled out of his land because he was a rapist and a murderer, and along with all his little posse of people that came down here. I'll never forget about when they had smallpox on the covers to unalive Native Indians and then made Native Indians fight against each other. I'll never forget about it because you are not going to forget about the Holocaust. It's a win-win. I deserve to believe in what I believe in. And last time I checked, we are the nation of people that have been oppressed for millenniums. I don't want to hear about the Irish that was in slavery, how long that lasted. I don't want to hear about it. It was only about a little while. How long have Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians been in captivity? To this day. To this day. Who fills up the jail houses? Blacks, Hispanics. Where are the Native Indians right now? On reservations and cannot be seen in public. Where are the so-called Hispanics? Separated from Mexico and Texas. It's a border that's 30 feet tall and stretches 1,200 miles to separate Mexicans from Texas. Where are Black people at right now? Locked up in the hoods. Locked up in the projects, in the barrios, and the ghettos. Don't tell me that slavery is not here and exists today. We won't forget about it. And since we won't forget about it, what we will do is say this: forget the Holocaust. Right. Where we was at? Give me 2 Corinthians 3:17 if you could, Khan.
3:17. Mm-hmm. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 17.
Right.
Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
Right. Liberty, the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority of one's way of life, behavior, or political views. Now, we know the Spirit of the Lord is where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Over in the ISUPK, we have liberty. And that's how you understand, you know what the Spirit of the Lord is. Christian church, you don't have liberty. You're under the oppression of political views. You're under the oppression and restrictions of authority because you have to follow that 5013C. You have to follow the agenda that the so-called Caucasian man gives to the Christian pastor to give to you as a person in the audience. And you have to agree. You have to agree with alternative lifestyle. You have to agree with, God loves everybody. You have to agree with eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Over here, we don't have to agree with that because we have liberty to serve our God. Right. That's what we have. We have liberty to serve our God and keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And one thing about us Israelites over here in the ISUPK, one thing about us, we're going to serve our God. There's nothing you're going to do to stop us. Just like General Hyman said, we are extremists. We're extremists for the Lord. We're fools for Christ's sake. And there's nothing you can do. It don't matter if you shut down the venue. It don't matter if you try to get us off the street corner. We'll speak with no speaker. We'll speak with no camp signs. We'll be out there to go and profess to the earth to help save our brothers and sisters. That's what we'll do on our Good Saturday because we actually give a damn. Now, all these other fake Israelites, all these Christian pastors, I don't see no food drives. I don't see no clothing drives. I don't see y'all out there on the street corners professing and giving the truth of God. You're not doing that because you don't give a damn, because you're an American. And since you're an American, you don't have the Spirit of God dwelling in you. Right. Now I understand it. And what Lethal Shooter said, I understand it now. I understand it now because you would rather trust in America. That's why when they talk about America has the best military, the best artillery, the best army, you're fighting tooth and nail to show the world America is the big bad bully. Last time I checked, in the midst of World War III, you see that Russia and China, and I know Gaza and the Palestinians going to come up against America as well, because I know I've seen Palestinians over here in Times Square, in New York, and all other places in America. They was protesting. They was upset. They gotta sit here and join with these so-called people that are oppressing and unaliving their people through Ukraine, because Ukraine is an ally to America. Now they gotta sit there knowing that their family members and their daughters and their sons and little nephews and nieces' heads are getting blown off because America has a hand in doing it. Now you're going to see this. America's no longer going to be the big bad bully. America's going to get bullied. And you see the things that's happening now, the Lord is orchestrating it. Now, this is all just a build-up. And guess who's the final boss? Guess who the final boss could come? Who's the final boss?
Did the oppressor come again?
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh
Mashiach is the final boss. And this is a boss you can't beat. No matter how many headshots, no matter how much, stems you got, how many Semtex bombs you got. Ain't nothing gonna be able to kill him. You ain't gonna be able to kill Christ. You're not gonna be able to kill the angels. You're not gonna be able to kill the men of the Lord. You're finished. Finito. It's over with. It's nothing you can do. America's going to fall just like Rome. And you know how I know? Because the men in the ISUPK are putting in the same work Christ did. We're bringing back the two sticks together. We're out here prophesying to the earth, prophesying to the wind. So now when one of our brothers that are Black, Latino, Native Indian can get this knowledge, brother or sister, your son or your daughter, and come up in this truth. And since they are now coming up in this truth, they're not following the ways of these pagan holidays, pagan religions. Now America is falling because the people that keep America up are the people that they have captive. And that is God's chosen people. So now if God's chosen people don't follow the ways of America to help build it up, America falls. Who spends the most money on Christmas? Black people. Who spends the most money on Valentine's Day and New Year's? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We do, because we believe that's a good time. It's a family time. It's us. We spend the most money. We spend the most money on all the jewelry and all the cars that look flashy to be accepted. The most money on suits and all these things that are vain and mean nothing to the Lord. It's us doing those things. And one thing you must know, since we're no longer doing those things, you see America is falling into a pit. It's falling, just like Rome did. And America is slowly falling. It's just a nation that can't be on the same accord. How can it stand? It's divided against itself. We just seen a couple years ago when they had all the white people go up and storm the Capitol and destroy the Capitol. See, now other white people are starting to see that their counterparts are the so-called the deceiver the Bible speaks of. Now they're starting to see that. Other white people starting to see that the people down in rulership that are white are lying to them as well. And they are fed up and tired. They're tired of it. They're tired of being treated a certain way. They feel that they shouldn't be treated at the same level as us because they're so-called Caucasian. Now they're starting to see, the Caucasian man is a liar. My other counterpart is a liar. And I want this place to fall. They got some white people that don't like Trump. They got some white people that don't vote at all, that don't like Kamala Harris. I hope you know that. It's some people that are just pure patriotic and want America to go back to the old ways. Well, America has changed. And that by itself changing, it'll never go back to the same, and it will never rise again. America's going to fall. Like it says in the scriptures, at last, that great city in 1 hour shall fall. Babylon the Great will fall. Like we say over there in Hebrew Academy, Babylon is fallen to rise no more. The reason why America is fallen is because the prophets of God are facing the east and praying that America falls for the betterment of Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. So our sons and little daughters can grow up and live healthy lives, be in rulership, be in a place in the kingdom where they don't have to worry about the oppressors pulling them over and unaliving them because he thought that you had a gun and you're 14 years old. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about getting hit off and shot off your bike. You don't have to worry about getting shot because you had a BB gun and the cop got scared. He's petrified because he's been bullied all his life in high school. So now he feels he has some authority to get some badge and some gun and a taser and work for the government of the America. You don't have to worry about that. The only thing you're going to have to worry about is Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians showing you too much love in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to be showing you so much love. You're like, God dang, I've never experienced this before. I've never experienced this. I've never experienced another nation building up something for me. I mean, Mexicans build white people houses. They build Arab stores. The reason why they're in business, they have successful business, is because of us. Read what you got.
Verse 18. Mm-hmm. But we all, with open face beholding, as in a glass, the glory of the Lord.
Right.
Are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord.
Keep going.
That's the last verse on 2 Corinthians.
Give me the next chapter.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 1. Therefore, see.
I just sent you this. It's an article. You go to it, read the it's at the very top. It's like right after it says America doesn't have the Spirit of God. It's that first passage.
More details are emerging about the 15-year-old girl who police say killed a teacher and teen student in a shooting at a private Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, she shot a what? And how old was she?
She say she unalived a teacher.
She unalived a teacher, dog. First off, what could this teacher been teaching this little white girl wrong? The teacher was white herself. She ain't teach you nothing but the benefit of your history of you oppressing us. So what's she teaching you wrong? What did she say wrong? Because I know she's underneath an agenda. She's underneath a contract. She gotta say something the right way of what she gotta teach in the curriculum based on a school teacher. So what did she say to you? Had to been something. Oh, never mind. We understand in Psalms 58 and verse 3 that they are wicked and estranged from the womb. So she ain't doing nothing but just acting as an American. She got mad one day, and I just want to kill my mom. I want to kill my dad. I want to kill my grandpa. I just want to unalive everybody. That's how they think. See how they switch? It's like a snake. No matter how long you keep a snake, you think he's domestic, he will always turn around and bite you. How many times how many times you see on the internet the so-called white people be having them anacondas? And they be like handling the snake and they showing you, like, yeah, he's such a nice snake.
I see it in real life.
Right, and you will believe that this so-called anaconda is a nice snake because he's handling it and it's not biting him. Then what? He's agitating the snake. Turn around, look back, the snake got this dude whole neck, he on the ground. Now the snake wrapping around his body, suffocating him at the same time. He bleeding out his neck. He said, but it's all right. He normally doesn't do this. He's okay. It's all right. It just happens sometimes. What you mean it just happens sometimes? So lion just sometimes attacks his owner. The lion is a wild beast, and he'll always do that, just like a snake.
Right.
It is always what happens. Keep reading.
So on Monday, when school officials apparently she was in her first semester at the school. And that the terrifying act lasted 8 minutes. Okay, now
stop right there. One thing I do want to say is this 15-year-old girl, remind you, she did this at a Christian school. The 15-year-old girl was a Christian herself. And everybody in that school were Christians because one of the curriculums that they teach about the Bible in this school. It's a private Christian school. So they teach about God or the Bible at this school. And what did she do? She unalived her teacher. She's a Christian. And the scripture says, thou shalt not kill. But you know why she did that? Because she doesn't really believe in God. She doesn't give a damn. And the reason why she don't believe in God, because she doesn't have a God. And that's what you get for following the ways of Christianity. You get a 15-year-old girl shooting up a private Christian school. And everybody in that school is Christians, just like the shooter was. And yet she did that. And I guarantee when she gets older, she's going to say, forgive me. And then watch, you're going to see her right there on the news with a mugshot again. She's going to be on the loose, unaliving people again. She's not going to get locked up because she believes in Christ. She believes in the Bible. And she says, I repent. I'm not going to do it again. I'm a Christian. We should all love one another. You're right. We should all love one another. But did you love that teacher? She'll say that after the fact. She unalived her. She's sitting there bleeding out. I loved her. But why did you kill her? You didn't love her. Keep going.
Police say Natalie Ruppnow opened fire inside a study hall inside a Blended Life Christian school. Just before 11 a.m.
Right, bright and early. Just before 11 a.m., she looking to seek blood. She's 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? Where did she even get a firearm from? She probably got it from her racist parents. That's she got. She got it from her racist parents. Her parents probably saying some stuff, got her mad at home. She probably, didn't get something at home. She said she wanted to unalive them. Instead, she took it on the teacher. Or maybe her teacher snitched on her and said she was being a class clown or something. She went up there and unalived her. Keep going. I mean, bright and early, too, before 11 a.m. Good night. Keep going.
Unaliving a fellow student and a teacher. While 6 people were injured, including 2 students with life-threatening injuries.
With what threatening injuries?
Life-threatening injuries.
With life-threatening injuries. Keep going.
A motive for the slayings is unknown, with Ruppnow taking her own life during the incident.
That's insane. The girl was 15. Caucasian girl that was 15, went and unalived her teacher and hit other students as well. And it said the motive was unknown. It was unknown. And that sounds just like that one boy that went up there to Buffalo, New York, that shot 11 black people in that grocery store. Wow. The motive was unknown. Because to them, unaliving people is a sport. You know how I know? I be watching videos on YouTube, right? I like to watch hunting videos, outdoor videos, fishing and whatnot. And occasionally, sometimes I just watch the video just because it's entertaining. But I stumbled across a video where they had this Caucasian man that was hunting wild boars, hunting pigs, right? And when he hit that pig, and there was another dude, he was hunting zebra. For one, I don't know why he hunted zebra. But, I mean, if you're going to eat the zebra, go ahead, dog. You're going to have zebra steak, whatever, zebra cakes. I might not even eat zebra cakes no more because the Caucasian man putting zebra. That's where it come from now, Zakaria. Zebra cakes come from now. I understand it. They're not getting put in my bag no more. Anyways, he was hunting the zebra, right? He hit the zebra with a 50 BMG. Okay. It's a big bullet. Bullet about the size, then to the size of this chauffeur, like half the size of this chauffeur. He hit the zebra. The zebra instantly started gushing out blood and was leaking and barely ran off and he died. Soon as he hit him, the excitement on his face when he said, "Look at that blood," his face changed. His whole demeanor changed. He clenched his teeth. You could see the grimace on his face, and he was excited when that innocent animal was bleeding out. That's the exact same way this 15-year-old girl felt. When she seen herself unaliving them people, just like that boy down there that went to Buffalo, New York and unalived them 11 people, he clenched his teeth. He said, "Look at that blood." He was bloodthirsty. Like it says in Isaiah 59:7. One of my favorite scriptures I always like to read. That they make haste to shed innocent blood. She made haste to shed innocent blood, and guess what? It was against her own people. The motive was unknown. And by that in itself, she took her own life. She took her own life. She took her own life. That's what you get for following the ways of America. For you to think as a Black, Latino, and Native Indian man that America has a spirit of God, you are a fool. You just seen this 15-year-old girl went down into a private Christian school, being a Christian herself, and unalive her Christian teacher and her Christian classmates. She's an American Christian that says she loves everybody, and she did that to her own people. What do you think she'll do to you? What do you think she'll do to you? With no motive behind it. She'll just go outside and just do it. A 15-year-old girl with a gun out and unalive her teacher and her classmates. That's what you get for being a Christian. That's what you get for following the ways of America. See, over here, being an Israelite, following the ways of God, having the spirit of Christ within this place, you get brothers and sisters dwelling in unity. You don't get 15-year-old girls toting guns and going to unalive somebody. You don't hear that happening over here in the ISUPK. Right. Brothers or sisters. It doesn't happen because we have the spirit of God. Right. We should, but we aren't the people that go around saying that we love everybody because we know that we can't spew our love to any other nation. What would us say? What would us, do anything by us saying that we love a 15-year-old white girl? What's it going to stop? It's not going to stop her from unaliving somebody. Right. Because they say they love us all the time. It doesn't stop them from committing sin. And they see us doing the work of the Lord out here not committing sin, and they don't even follow us. They don't listen to us. So why me saying I love you is going to change anything? It's not going to change anything. Of course, we wouldn't say those things because Esau have I hated, but Jacob have I loved. We just follow the ways that the Most High God tells us to follow. That's what we do. That's what we do. And we got to start showing our love to our own people. And that's what we've been doing since 1969. And as you can see, we have over 70 to 100 schools all across the earth professing to Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, don't follow the ways of the world. The ways of the world is not how the spirit of God, as you'll see. Keep reading. Matter of fact, give me Zechariah 11:5. Salakia.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Whose what?
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Can anybody give me like a clue of who are the people that are possessed right now today? Somebody give me a clue of who are the people, the nation of people that are possessed by oppressors right now. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Yep. And we have people that oppress us, that possess us. They own the music industry. They own the finance industry. They own the jobs. They own the cars. They make the cars. They own the property tax on the houses. They own the land. You got to go to them to buy land. They own the livestock. They own all this stuff. Even own the clothes that we wear. Right? And they possess us, enslave us, and hold themselves not guilty. Let me tell you something. It was a while back. They had this little white boy. He went up in the church and unalived some black people. You know what they did? They politely arrested him and gave him Burger King. He slayed us, and he was held not guilty. We just read about the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, right, Yaquab? How long did it take for them to even bring it to trial? 14 years. I mean, 14 years after 4 little girls lost their lives and 22 other black people damn near died? It took 14 years for it to go on trial? What are we talking about here? We're talking about these are the people that say they love us. What are we really talking about here? We see the proof. We see the proof is in the pudding. Now, how many times Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, we want somebody to if they're going to say something, to perform it with action and deed. And last time I checked, we see that these people do not hold up to their actions. They broke 500 treaties with the Native Indians. They say, you can come up over here and work, be an American citizen. Then after that, let's build a wall to separate them. Let's build a wall. Let's get him up out of there. He don't have a green card. He's not an American citizen. He was not born here in America. He is an immigrant. He's a wetback. He needs to go back over there. He's a gringo. Put him back over there across the border. Black people, go back to Africa. You're African. That's what they say. No, we are the people that have built up this place with blood, sweat, and tears. And what do we get in return? What do we get in return? We get slayed at the masses on the streets, and our oppressors are not held guilty. How long did it take for them to even convict the dude that unalived George Floyd? It took them a little minute. Like, we got the suspect. His mug shots. He's on video committing a crime. Went to trial. We've seen that he wrongfully unalived this man. And it took them that long to even try to convict him. But yet, you're driving in your car. You walking down the street. Oh, you match the description. So all black people look alike? No, you match the description. We see a man with dreads, about 5'6", dark skin. You match the description. I don't even have dreads, dog. Now my car is surrounded and they got spotlights all in my car. I'm not even 5'6". Hell, I ain't dark skinned. Now, just hypothetical. Now we know I'm dark skinned, but just hypothetical for an example, right? You feel what I'm saying? You catch my drift. Hey, Zakar, if I could, you can give me some water, Baba Kashad. Right? They hold themselves not guilty. They unalive us at the masses, and you can see. Right? Give me matter of fact, Kakam, I think you still got it, right? The article. Go down to where it says the Klan was reborn. I got a little bit more, and I'm gonna get up out of here.
The Klan was reborn as an organization of intimidation.
Wait, say that again.
The Klan was reborn as an organization of intimidation.
Right, now, the Klan that it's referring to is the Ku Klux Klan, and it says the Klan was reborn for what?
Of intimidation.
For intimidation, trying to what? Trying to scare who?
Trying to scare off black workers.
Trying to scare off what workers?
Black workers.
Keep reading.
So that white workers could have the job.
So white workers could have jobs. They're trying to scare off black workers so that white workers can have jobs. And you know what's crazy? Because it's this thing that they push here in America. Salakia, they poison the minds of our Hispanic brothers. And our Hispanic brothers go at black people to say, no, you don't need to be around here because you've taken all the Mexican jobs. And black people do the same thing that Mexicans say, that you've taken all the black jobs. Just like Captain Yatazak said so elegantly, that Mexican jobs are black jobs. Right. Because they're black and brown jobs. That's what they are. It's no distinct difference. We're all the same. We're one familia. We're one family. And here these people are. They made the Klan was reborn to scare our black workers so that way white workers can have jobs. But here's the thing. I don't understand why y'all say that, because it's very seldom that black people even get in the same top jobs as white people. and they'll be qualified and go to college and have all the degrees. You know what they'll tell you? You're overqualified. That's what they'll say. He's an overqualified black man. He's too smart. He doesn't need to be here. Send him to the plant. Go to Louisiana and go to the plant. Go to the barge. You don't need to be here. You're too qualified. I went to school for 15 years. Got a degree. I got my PhD. I'm qualified to be a neurosurgeon doctor. You're saying I'm too qualified because I have 8 degrees and you only have 2. He says, I need to go to McDonald's. I need to go to the plant. I need to go to the oil rig. I'm too qualified. Why? Because he doesn't need to be in the same vicinity as me, because I feel like he's on the same level as me. Why is a black man up here? No. So I don't even know why you saying taking away taking away white jobs. You want to scare us when we the people that's working at McDonald's. We're the people that's building your houses. Mexicans are building the houses. They're the construction workers. They're the contractors. They're the ones that do the plumbing. I see them with the track hoes out there and the back hoes digging up the dirt to make sure they got pipes laid in the ground so you can have good plumbing, a good septic tank so you can go take your dumps with all the swine filled in your body. They're the reason why you have the liberty to do that. Right. They're the reason. And yet the Klan was reborn to scare black workers so that way white workers can have jobs. We don't even have the same jobs as you. Even back then, we were the sharecroppers. We were the ones in the field picking cotton. We're the ones with the lowest jobs. What you scaring us for? We already ain't gonna be qualified or even have the opportunity to get the same job as you. Keep reading.
The intimidation often took the form of violence.
What? Say it again.
The intimidation often took the form of violence.
Kakan, let me ask you a question. Was the Klans Christians?
How come?
The Klan was Christian, right? Which means what? They believe that they claim they believe in God, right?
Right.
That's what they would claim, right? And did it just say that it often included violence? It said it often included violence. They didn't just start saying it was Christians. Back then in the 1960s, the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan, those members claimed that they were Christians while they were burning crosses in black people's neighborhoods, in their yards, disturbing the peace, being a cancer and a nuisance to the earth. That's what they did. Keep going.
Including lynchings.
What?
Including lynchings.
Hey, Yaquab, if you could, go on your phone and look up the most recent lynchings that happened. I believe it was like 2020, 2024 is the most recent lynching. The brother is telling you, this prophet is telling you that the most recent lynching was in 2024. What he just read happened in the 1960s when the Klan was very prevalent. Yaquab just told me 2024 was the most recent lynching. We're talking about a public display of a black man being hung on a tree. I thought that slavery ended. I thought that the hate and the violence was put away. I thought that you loved everybody. I thought that we should love one another. As you can see, they're wicked and estranged from the womb. 2023? Don't make it no better. It's 2 years. We just hit 2025.
Oh wait, no, it might be.
It's what? Say it loud. It's what?
2024.
2024. Good night. Keep reading. The Tulsa. Yeah, the Tulsa Race Massacre.
The Tulsa Race Massacre occurred in 1921.
Right, in 1921. So now I'm giving you a little bit of a time frame of the wickedness of the Caucasian man. Not only was it in the 1960s, but also in the 1920s. Right? Keep going.
In the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right.
Due to segregation. This district consisted almost entirely of African American homes. African American or so-called black men, right? Keep going. So now we understand that the Greenwood district in Tulsa, Oklahoma, mainly the people that stayed there were black people or African Americans, if you want to have them identify as that, right? Keep going. African American homes. Churches and businesses. Right, in 1920s, African American homes, churches, and businesses. Keep going. For years before the riots, tensions between the two races grew. Right now, can somebody just guess on who the two races were? Isaiah?
No, like it says the tension grew between these two races.
The tension grew?
Yeah, between these two races. Now, it's not talking about us going against each other at this time, but it would be black people versus who? Versus who? Versus white people. The tension grew in the 1920s because the people that understood that these people stayed in the Greenwood district were the so-called Caucasian people because they were scoping it out. And they purposely let them live over there because it was a certain price, a certain way of living. Their houses were designed a certain way. So they didn't get to stay all up there with the white people. They were segregated in a certain section, right? Just like in today's time in the hoods. You know, you got Section 8. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody give me you got Florence and 10th Ave, you got Crenshaw, you got Zone 1, you got O Block, you got Houston, you got the Wards in New Orleans. They stay in a certain area. You're not gonna see Zone 3 and 6th Ward being so close to Beverly Hills. That's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna have Inglewood close to Beverly Hills. It's the same thing. The Greenwood district modern day would be how it is over there in the West Coast. Inglewood, Compton, whole bunch of where Negroes stay. And then up there, the Beverly Hills is where they stay. Keep going.
A lynching a few months earlier led African Americans to fear that one of them might be lynched by a white mob.
That fear of what?
Fear that one of them might be lynched by a white mob.
They were in fear that they might be lynched by a white mob. Now, these are the same people, once again, that say they love everybody. And if you are a Black, Latino, Native Indian man, the real alien of the earth is a Caucasian man. The real terrorist of the earth is the white man, not you. We're reading about in the 1920s, the 1960s, that they made groups, the Ku Klux Klan, to scare off Black workers so white people can have jobs, to have white supremacy, to unalive Black people. You're reading about it right now. You say the Bible isn't real. The Bible is in fact real because to this day, it still happens. Jaquab just said in 2024, there was a lynching of a Black man. I've seen it all over Twitter and TikTok. Seen the man in 4K hanging on the tree, twisting around, Black man, damn near naked with all his clothes off. Who did it? We know who did it. The oppressors.
Right.
We know what happened. Keep going.
Kawakan. One day, a young African American man named Dick Rowland was accused of hurting a white woman. He was accused,
right? He was accused. Now this sounds like just like Nat Turner. Nat Turner was what? Was accused of what? Whistling at a woman? He was accused of whistling at a woman. They made a movie about it. And it's so crazy. This is how evil these people are. They made a movie about it. And they said that they know what he did. He whistled. And even on the movie, they showed you the events that happened and how he was unalive. It's crazy. He put it right in front of your face and everybody went to go watch it. As if we already don't know the history. I don't need to see a movie to talk about the oppression that we go through every day. That sold blockbuster millions. For what? So I can big up the pockets of the so-called Caucasian man, our oppressors? I know what happened to Nat Turner. I know what happened. I believe my brothers and sisters, and they know what happened, and they said what happened. Right. Now they made a movie off of it. Made millions of dollars just to laugh in your face. Just to laugh in your face about the destruction that they did to one of our brothers. This sounds like Nat Turner. This sounds like what's his name? Dick Rowland. He sounds just like Nat Turner. Keep going.
Kawakan. The sheriff arrested him and took him to the courthouse.
And read that again. Read it again. Come hold up now. They got his.
The sheriff arrested him and took him to the courthouse.
The sheriff arrested him and took him to the courthouse off of an assumption. Off of an assumption. Now, there's one thing, and if you don't know, and I'm gonna give you one movie to watch. It's one thing that you must know. You should never marry strangers. Right. Don't be in the same vicinity as them and trusting in them. But there's just one movie. What's the movie called? Daddy's Little Girls, right? Now, the main actress on there is Idris Elba. Now, of course, we know Idris Elba is not a Black man. But for so long, we thought he was a Black man, or he's acting as a Black man in the movie as a role. Now, Idris Elba, right? And he had 3 little girls, and he had a hood abusive baby mother that messed with some gang banging Black dude in the hood, right? And he was striving his best to make life good and to make sure that he had a good life for his daughters. Now, the reason why he was working in the conditions he was working in is because he was falsely accused of raping a white girl. This is the exact reason why the scriptures say to never trust your enemies. This is the exact reason why the scriptures say to never lay with a strange woman. And he didn't even do anything. He was just in the room with her. Her father came in and said, "What's going on? Is he hurting you?" She said, "No." But of course, her falling to the manipulation of her father, she got scared. She respected her father, sided with him. Now Idris Elba will go to jail. Now, since Idris Elba goes to jail, he can't be in a certain vicinity of certain places. He couldn't get a certain good paying job. Now he's living in hell. That sounds like a modern day black man. I say all that to say this, that often an assumption of a so-called strange woman, your whole life can change. Keep going.
Khan, an angry white mob gathered outside.
An angry white mob gathered outside. They gathered outside to go against Mr. Rowland. That's what they did. Keep going.
Khan.
All off an assumption. No facts. No facts. Now I like to beg to differ that if we're going by the court system, that he demands a trial. Demand a trial. You say he's guilty to proven innocent. Give him a warrant and everything. We have the facts right here. Let's go to trial. Take it to trial. I demand a trial. Keep going.
Khan. They wanted to capture him and hang him.
They wanted to what?
Capture him and hang him.
What they wanted to do, Yaquad? Just like they did in 2024. They wanted to what?
Capture and hang.
They wanted to capture and hang the brother. Keep going.
Khan, before he had the chance to have a trial.
Before he had the chance to have a trial, they wanted to have their way with him. Because they wanted to protect that little white girl off of an assumption. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to protect her off of an assumption. No actual concrete evidence nor proof. They was ready to get rid of Mr. Rowland. A white mob was ready to hang him, just like the KKK. A white mob, a white supremacist terrorist mob that stands in front of your house with burning crosses with coats on to scare you and intimidate you and ultimately lynch you. Keep going.
Many of them had weapons.
Many of them had what?
Weapons.
They had weapons. Now, this is documented in 1920s. And yet they sit here saying that the ISBK and the commanding general Yohana is terrorist. They said we're terrorists, Zakaria. We ain't out there with a black mob. We ain't scaring Donald Trump. Did we gather around the White House and scare Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe? Did we go over there and put him out of his misery? We ain't got to do that. The Lord gonna unallow him anyways. He been about to die. Joe Biden's 106. Right. He not in office no more. Goddamn. I'm glad. How old is Trump? Ain't he like 95 or something? He about 87? He decomposing. He old. You see, he old. You see all that wickedness catching up to him. It's all catching up to him. You're living a fast life, and it's slowly gonna walk him down. That's what's going to happen. And you trusting in Trump, thinking that this country's going to be in better hands, it's not. It's not. America's going to rot and fall. And guess what? The reason why it's going to rot and fall, because we are praying for it. Keep going.
The Klan never dies. They just stop wearing sheets.
See, the KKK never dies. They just stop wearing their white sheets. They're walking around here today in the police force. They're walking around here today as retired Marines, World War II vets, World War I vets. They got that spirit. They're walking around here as everyday, coding white men that work for AAA, that work for Dell. They're walking in the same vicinity as you. The Klan never dies. They just stop wearing sheets. Now they wear Spears with no socks and cargo shorts and a button up. That's what they wear with bifocals on. That's what they wear now. Read the next quote. This is what other white Americans feel about other white Americans that don't vote for Trump. Read it.
Voting against Donald Trump at this point is really treason to your heritage.
See, this is what you got to understand. The reason why so many goddamn Caucasian people are voting and black people, especially voting for Trump, because you are of your father, the devil. Right. But white people doing it, that's just in their spirit. And this white guy said, if you vote against Trump, it's treason against your heritage. Because Trump believes in making America great again. And what made America great? Racism. Racism made America great. That's the reason why we're at this point now. Trump believes in that. He believes in that. You think he gives a damn about black people? He doesn't. Just like Kamala Harris didn't. If he cared about black people, he wouldn't have told black people to go back to Africa. Right. He knows we aren't from there. You don't think that Donald Trump has some access to some of the greatest historical things that's ever graced the face of the earth? You don't think he's been to the Middle East and seen what's in them hidden things? I mean, for crying out loud, when they stormed the Capitol, we didn't even know he was underneath the ground in the bunker somewhere going to another state. Right. They move in secret. What I'm trying to say is Donald Trump knows things just like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Barack Obama and all these other people that are the stars of heaven. They know these things about us. They understand it. And voting against Trump, they said that's treason against their heritage. That's how other white people feel if you didn't go to that voting booth and vote for Trump. Because you aren't a Confederate flag waving, Donald Trump MAGA hat wearing supporter. That's why when he got clipped in his ear with that little 22 bullet he got hit with, and he stood up and said, fight, everybody at that rally they said, oh my God, our God has spoken. I got the spirit of America in me. I got the entire spirit of racism dwelled and living through my body. I feel empowered. I feel unstoppable. You don't think that everybody at that Trump rally felt like they was a goddamn Avenger? That day they felt like they was on top of the world. You would have said something to that. So any white person, any black person that was at that Trump rally when he got clipped in the ear with that little BB, see, now the cowboy bullet getting smaller because I don't even think it was a real shot. But anyways, they thought that they was on top of the world. They would have walked in any establishment. If you would have looked at them the wrong way, they would have unalived you and justified it by being a Trump supporter. Justified it by making America great again to unalive blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. That's what it did. Anybody got anything? You ain't got anything? Nothing? It was, wait, so you said it was Emmett Till? So it was Emmett Till that whistled at the girl? It was Emmett Till. So Nat Turner got unalived as well, though, right? Okay. I might be getting a little old. Y'all help me out. Y'all young. So Nat Turner got unalived too, though. Like, what is his face caved in or like clobbered or something? Who was that? Emmett or Nat? That was Emmett. So Emmett's face got rearranged. They also did the same thing with Nat Turner. But Nat Turner's face got messed up too, right?
He got lynched, and after he died, like they cut up his body.
What?
Yes, they cut up his body and they ate it.
Wait, say the last part.
Yeah, all right. Look, all right. This.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't know they ate him. Yeah, no. Dismembering him, I understood, but eating.
Made purses and shoes out of it and everything.
Right. You know what that sounds like, Zakaria? I'm glad you said. I'm gonna ask you a question. That sounds like in the times of slavery, when they used to take black people's skin and they used to make colognes and perfume out of our skin. They got a chair to this day that's at a plantation that they use black people's skin to make a leather couch out of. And they used our hair to make some other stuff as well. But one question that I will ask you, okay, so he was dismembered and he was eaten, right? What race of people that did that? Caucasian, right? But wait, ain't they the same people that say they believe in Christ and they should love everybody? But yet they're sitting here eating something that is not even lawful to your body? A human at that? Then unalive to him? And then beat his face in after he was already dead? I mean, dang, the man's dead already. Where's the mercy? The man's dead already. You've done your deed. Then you dismember him. And then eat his body? What type of sick, vile person can you be? I know one thing, you're not a man of God. I know you don't strive for righteousness. I know you don't want to be ye therefore perfect like our Father is in heaven. I know you don't have the Spirit of God dwelling in you. Because I heard what you did to Nat Turner. I heard what you did to Emmett Till, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Sandra Bland. I know what happened. And with that, we understand that you are the enemy to Christ. You are an enemy to God. We will never trust you as long as we breathe on this earth ever again. And that's what we're trying to edify blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians to do. You got something, Isaiah?
I have a question that's unrelated from the topic.
Oh, go ahead. Where we at on time, Kakan?
You said what's the time? It's on 1:39.
Okay.
Okay, so how could you respond to someone? Let's say you tell someone you're a priest or prophet, and they say you're not a prophet if you can't show me something that you prophesize. How do you respond to that?
You can't. So, okay. Here's one thing that I would say. Before you came into the school, they had prophets that prophesied it, right? Just like we're doing today. So before you came into the school, I prophesied it that my brothers and sisters would come into this knowledge of the truth. Now you're here. You do the exact same thing. You can just show them, well, they're not at the school, but you can just show them the brothers at camp. Some of them brothers was on the other side before they came into the school because they didn't have the wisdom and understanding of God. You went out there and prophesied it to the wind. You prophesied that one day a brother or sister would get this. Now look at the school. Since 1969, look at the proof that we have done. You go out there, you face the east, you keep the high holy days, you don't commit sin. You go out there and do the work of the Lord. And the work of the Lord is what? Preaching that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, to go and perform miracles, to heal the sick and cleanse the lepers. Isn't that what prophets of God do? Aren't you not at clothing drives? Don't you do food drives? You healing the sick, you cleansing the lepers. You out there feeding the homeless. You feeding all nations. You giving the gospel to the entire earth, but more importantly to your brothers and sisters. You changed your life. As a prophet of God, you got to understand this. You can just break it down like this. Christ was a prophet of God. Moses was as well. We know Christ was perfect, just like Job. They didn't commit sin. You don't commit sin. You're a prophet of God. You do the things that's in the scriptures. You keep the high holy days. You're striving to be perfect, just like Christ. You're a prophet. You're a disciple. You're a disciple of Christ. Just like he had, the thousands back then following him? You're back here today doing the exact same thing. You're doing the work of the Lord. You're living the Bible. They don't understand that. Any other question? You got something, Yaquad? You got something, sis? None could come, Zakaria?
Question, sir?
All right, you got security announcements? So basically, the work that you're doing shows that you're a prophet of God. Only a prophet, real quick, if I could, only a prophet could change his life and strive to be perfect and not commit sin. That's a miracle. The fact that you was living in the world to change your life and kill your old self for the betterment of your brothers and sisters, that's the exact same thing that the prophets did back then. Right. The exact same thing that the 12 did. And then the masses that was following Christ did as well. For you to change your life and become a prophet, to get that oil and get your name and go out there and prophesy to the wind, to change brothers and sisters' lives just like you changed your life, that's a prophet of God. To feed the homeless, to heal the sick, cleanse the leper. You clothe your brothers and sisters out there. That's what prophets of God do. Go ahead.
We at the ISUPK started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. Oh,
so like if I could, Isaiah. If I could, the sister had a point. George Washington did have his slave's teeth in his mouth. He did have his slave's teeth in his mouth. And I will say this, we understand that the Caucasian man is the deceiver that the Bible speaks of. Now, I'm keeping it PG for the internet. I said a little bit too much. I know you're going to flag the video. Because we're spewing out the truth of the Lord throughout the earth. But just like we pray for, that the Lord open up the airways, the internet, the cable access channels, let loose all the plagues, let loose all the terrorists. Right. Well, the reason why the earth is falling is because we face the east and pray for it. Keep going.
Come. Mm-hmm. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. Mm-hmm. They are here to shed themselves of the world.
Right.
If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. Mm-hmm. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, found in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, get the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, we have, isn't it
Purim, right? Purim.
It's the Feast of Purim, the 14th day and the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month, Thursday on the 13th, March and Friday 14th of 2025. Found in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 through 31. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, give the class back over to Officer 500 Yahaji.
All right, with that, Amaju, we'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher and the brothers that was watching. Men of Israel, Amaju Shabbat, Amaju, Barak, Yahweh Matah. I'm going to turn the song, give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amaju Shabbat, Amaju, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Atah B'Shem Yahushua. Most High Christ, class dismissed.